I'm Leah Tindale, and this is Note to Self. And if you had a strange dream last night, well, you are not alone because I have them all the time. And so when I found out about this amazing woman, I thought she's got to be on the podcast. She's an absolute a gun, really. Like, I've never felt more seen in a moment in my life. I'm joined today by Jane Teresa Anderson. She is a dream analysis, a dream therapist. She's written 8 books, and she is the host of The Dream Show. And she joins me now. Good morning to you, Jane Teresa.
Good morning, Leah. Thank you for having me on.
I'm so excited to chat to you because you obviously joined me on our breakfast show on Triple M in the southern WA. And in your explanation of my dream I gave you, honestly I felt so seen, and it made sense in a way that no therapist has been able to help me. So tell me about your background and how you are so wise in this space.
I love that, on a radio breakfast segment where we only had 30 seconds or a minute, because usually I sit down with people with one dream for about an hour or an hour and a half. So it's so good to hear. How I got into this space, it was a long time ago, because my background is in science. I suppose, I loved dreams as a child, so that's really where it started. But, most children love their dreams, don't they? It's just that people don't listen to them.
Yes, it's true.
They give up telling people about them.
Yes, that's true.
I loved them, and I went to university and studied science, and eventually my degree is actually in zoology, which sounds like it's got nothing to do with dreams, which it kind of hasn't. But my speciality was in developmental neurobiology, so I was looking at the brain and how it wires up during development, and then how we perceive things around us. So really, now that I look at dreams, I'm looking at how does our brain and our mind perceiving the world around us, and how is it processing that while we're asleep at night. So there kind of is a connection. So anyway, after my first degree, I started a PhD because I thought that's what I really wanted to do.
Great.
And after about 3 months, I thought this is really not what I want to do at all. I've got little goldfish with our eyeballs and terrible other things that we had to do as part of our experiments. It was like take out an eyeball, put it in upside down, and see which way the nerves grew to the brain. And after a while, I thought, this does not really, on my application form, I had put this research will be medically significant for things like neurodegenerative diseases. I thought, it's not. It's not. That doesn't really work for me.
No.
So I made a big decision and I left. And I had, when I left, the vaguest of feelings that what I probably wanted to do with the rest of my life is something where I wasn't just talking to little goldfish.
Yeah.
But that I had some kind of community thing going where I was helpful and providing some kind of information. I didn't know what it was. And the vaguest feeling that maybe it was to do with like a newsletter, because that was like the media at the time.
Great.
I loved listening to radio and to any talk back, whenever there was a guest in the studio. And I had this picture back then, pre-internet days, that they would usually have 3 guests on a breakfast show or a talk back. And I imagined that one received a question, the next one was kind of busily looking through their encyclopedia or the notes, and the third one was going, I'll answer that.
Yes, great. Amazing.
So I don't know why I was so intrigued, but I was anyway. And so I did none of that. I went and worked in a museum for a while and was putting exhibitions on the road, and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And that kind of really began this idea, I guess, of me thinking, you know what, I can just decide what I want to do and go and do it.
Absolutely.
And then jump quite a few years. And then there was a time where I was really back to keenly wanting to understand my own dreams more, and being in a situation where quite often I'd realised that I was talking to someone. There was a few weeks where they just all randomly started to tell me about their dreams, and I was thinking, I'm sure, you must be able to surely see what that dream is about. I'm thinking to myself, because I can see what it's about. And it kind of started there. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to follow this because this is my passion. And I followed it by initially getting a few hundred people together to write down their dreams at night and to write down what was happening for them during the day, what issues came up, what feelings came up, anything.
Wow.
And then I looked at the scientist and me, compared what's happening for you during the day and what's happening in your dreams. And it kind of all opened up from there.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's amazing work that you do. And yeah, I've loved it. I love as well that it's not woo-woo. So I think sometimes the dream interpretation has been very akin to sort of star signs, but this is so grounded.
Yes, it is. It's completely grounded. And I've enjoyed it. And when I started doing it, which was about 33 or 34 years ago, most people's perception of dream work was that it was woo-woo, or it was New Age, which was the title
Yes.
at the time. So I felt like I was really sort of going against the grain and really striding out and really establishing this different view. And now the majority are with me. And it's so wonderful to sort of feel in that position that most people that work in this field do know what they're doing and are making a difference.
Oh.
And and the radio thing just kind of happened. It kind of just slotted in somewhere very
So
early
good.
on.
I love that. It's like that. Yeah, you happen to have that dream answered for yourself in the world as well, which is amazing.
Yes.
So let's dive into some of the dream topics that I'm sure you get asked all the time. Let's talk about the two ones that come to mind is teeth falling out and flying in our dreams. Could you let us know what they mean?
Yes, so I will. But of course, we can't take a one-size-fits-all approach.
Sure.
So you can't use a dream dictionary. Anybody listening that's got a dream dictionary on your shelf, just recycle it, put it somewhere else. Doesn't really work.
Great.
That's not how it works. All the symbols in our dreams and the feelings in our dreams come from us individually. And how we relate to the world. So to backtrack slightly before doing the teeth dream,
Yes.
what's happening while we're dreaming is that our brain or our mind is processing all our experiences of the last day or two.
Right.
Not only our conscious experiences, but our unconscious experiences. There are things that we're not really so aware of that are happening around us, or we're maybe hearing in the background, or we're feeling. The gut feelings are going on in our body that we're ignoring. And all of those experiences are processed while we're asleep by our brain or our mind. And the idea is that you're supposed to wake up with a kind of, right, okay, I've got a fresh new view of the world. I've processed my experiences from yesterday. I've got a much better idea. I'm going to, have a different mindset. I'm going to be programmed in this way. And it's while all that's happening, we experience dreams. So when we're processing something about our emotions, we might have emotions in our dreams. When we're processing something about colours, we might have colours in our dream, and so on and so forth. So the whole brain lights up in exactly the same way as it would if we were awake and experiencing, waking life, but it's all happening in our dreams. So our dreams are the experiences that we have while we're processing our experiences of the last 1 or 2 days to try to make sense of our world. And the other thing I'd like to say just before getting onto the teeth is that unfortunately, we all take nothing to do with our conscious thinking, but the way our brain is wired is it takes our early experiences as gospel.
Right.
So, the experiences that you have when you're a child or at school, they're far more important. You trust those far more than the experiences you had yesterday.
Right.
So even though your dream might be going, really, what you experienced yesterday is far closer to the truth. We really should take this on board. There's another part of your brain going, yeah, but, I learned about jealousy when I was 3. So I've got all my spikes out about that. So that's when we tend to have dreams that don't have a nice, tidy ending, and have dreams like the teeth dream, where they're unresolved or they're problematic. And that's because our dreaming mind is not tying up at a nice bow and updating our mindset. We're stuck with past patterns. So our dreams can keep us stuck with limiting beliefs, things that have happened in the past, feelings we've tried to push down, all those kind of things to stop us from moving forward.
So would that mean then I did used to have the teeth falling out dream, and I had the flying dream a lot as well, especially when I was growing up. But I did notice that I'd have the teeth falling out whenever I'd forget to brush my teeth, which feels like a really strong link. So if I'm having it now and I have brushed my teeth, is it then because my brain is like, that's just what it remembers that means? It's making those sorts of connections?
That's a really great observation. So it well might be, and I'll go into some of the other options as well. So yeah, as a child, for whatever reason, it was really important to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
What happened if you didn't brush your teeth when you were little?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just was afraid. Like we would be told that they would rot and fall out. And so then I was terrified.
So dire circumstances will occur if I don't do this thing.
Yes.
So it's possible that when you have that dream these days, it's because dire circumstances might happen. Not if you don't clean your teeth, but if you don't do something else.
Wow.
That, I've got to do this. I've always got to behave this way. I've got to do this because otherwise things are going to be dire. Oh, that belongs to the teeth falling out dream.
Yes.
So that's one possibility. I always ask people with the teeth falling out dream for more details, and ask them how they felt when the teeth fell out. So, for example, some people might say, in the dream, I was about to give a presentation and I opened my mouth and my teeth just started spitting out. And I was absolutely terrified, and people were laughing at me, and I wanted to put them back in, but I couldn't, that kind of feeling.
Yes.
So then you can instantly say, well, this is the theme of the dream was presentation. It's how I present myself. I'm frightened that I have a fear that when I open my mouth to say something, I'll say something. Something will come out of my mouth that I won't be able to put back in.
Wow.
I'll lose face. I'll lose something.
Wow. Okay. That's, I feel like a very scary and probably a very illuminating thing for many people as well.
Yes. And there are other meanings as well, but that's just one of them. Yeah.
What about the flying one? What's some of the common things that are associated with flying? Is that escaping?
It can definitely be escaping, yeah. So it comes down to always, asking that first question, maybe of any dream, how did you feel at that point in the dream? So if somebody says, yeah, I was flying, how did you feel? It was wonderful, I was escaping. Or there was something really terrible happening and it was so good to get up there and fly. Or other people might say, I was amazed, like I couldn't believe I could fly this high. So let's just look at some of those. You might fly in your dream to escape. So then we'll look at the dream and say, what were you escaping from? And we'll work out what that relates to in your life. Wow. So then we might say, well, maybe escaping isn't really the best way to deal with this. Yes. Let's just come down to ground. Let's turn around and let's face what it is you're trying to get away from. Other people will often go, wow. And a common one is to be up there going, wow, look at me, I'm flying. And there's all your friends on the ground just looking up going, oh, wow, that's amazing. And you're going, come up and fly. And they're going, I can't do that. And so that can be around the feeling of you're trying to reach literally a higher potential. I can get something going. I can lift myself up. I can reach to something higher. But there's all these other parts of myself on the ground that have doubt in me. So I'm trying to persuade myself to lift my game, do something higher. But my dream is telling me there's all these other aspects of myself that are going, oh, I'm not sure about that. Don't know if you can do that. So that common one of it is flying, but getting caught in like power lines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
And although you might think, oh, well, that's because there are power lines everywhere, but you don't, they're not everywhere. You can fly in a dream and not have power lines. So often, if I ask a few careful questions, that's often people saying, well, I feel like I could lift my game. I feel like I could reach higher. I feel like I could reach higher potential. But I kind of always end up in power dynamics with people. I get caught in power situations. I don't feel I've got the power. And usually the person will just go, oh, yeah, that's totally it. Those are
There's
some
like
examples.
A literal meaning then, the power lines and the power dynamic. I love that.
Yeah, because one of the many ways that our dreamy mind works is it will often use plays on words. So power for power word,
Yeah, that's amazing. What about then if you don't dream at all? Because my partner swears he doesn't dream at all. Co-host doesn't dream at all. What's happening there?
They're just not remembering them.
Okay.
But there are some extremely rare circumstances where people aren't dreaming, and they're usually more related to various drugs.
Sure. Okay.
If you have a lot of alcohol, you won't dream for the first 5 or 6 hours. But dreaming is so important. If you stay there long enough, you'll get so many huge and vivid dreams, all trying to squeeze in at the last moment. It's actually got a name. It's called REM rebound.
Really?
So the question really is, why do people not remember their dreams? Dreams are actually, they're so helpful to us for understanding ourselves and making our life experiences more positive and more helpful and full of personal growth. But even without examining our dreams, we know there's something that's physiologically important about them. So if you take animals, for example, and you stop them, you allow them to sleep, but you stop them from dreaming, which you can do, they get very sick. So we do need to have dreams to be physically, physiologically and emotionally stable. So your partner, your co-hosts are just not remembering their dreams, and there's lots of reasons why that can happen.
They're pushing their feelings down and they're repressing.
Yeah. And they're waking up in the morning and they're just getting straight out of bed and getting on with the day and not interested.
Yeah, exactly. It does make me think there's the rumor or the myth that goes around about eating cheese and having wild dreams. Do you know if there's a link between cheese and dreams?
Well, if cheese really upsets your stomach, if it gives you gut ache, then you will not be sleeping comfortably.
Sure.
So we have about 5 dreams a night and an 8-hour sleep.
Okay.
and we're at our most wakeful at the end of a dream. So that we'll
Right.
usually wake up for a little bit, then go back to sleep. But if you've got stomach ache, you'll wake up, you'll be a bit more wake for a bit longer because it's really uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, I had a dream. And you may remember more dreams.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So recollection, not necessarily that they're any more strange. They probably always are strange, but we
Yeah.
just don't remember
Not
them all.
remembering them. Although you may also be, your dreaming mind may be grappling with this feeling of pain in my stomach and trying to sort of paint a picture of a dream that's trying to warn you. Do you know you've got a monster living in your stomach?
Yeah, please wake up, go to the bathroom, things like that. That's amazing. All right, well, I want to bring before you a couple of dreams, and I'm not going to give you a big meaty one because when you're listening to this, you'll be able to, in a few weeks, get a really good meaty dream from the Dream Show with Jane Teresa Anderson. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and we'll link that below as well when it comes available. But for today's episode and chat, I'd love to take you through two small dreams. The first one is I always, and I have run it past him, so he knows I'm talking about this to you, but I keep dreaming about my co-host, Michael. Now, he's been on the podcast as well as a guest, and I've only worked with him in this breakfast show capacity, but it's always a bit awkward because yeah, he's my colleague. There's nothing other going on. But in these dreams, I always end up having romantic dreams. This is the problem. And so even last night, I had a dream about him, and we were just together, sort of as a couple. But I don't want to dream about him anymore. So this is the problem. What's going on?
So, on one level, you're together as a couple in the dream, and you're kind of together as a couple co-hosting as well.
Sure,
so there's
yes.
that. But everyone in a dream, it can be worth looking at everyone in a dream as representing something about yourself, the dreamer. And the usual way that I go about that to start with is to say, can you give 3 words that would describe his personality or approach to life that you're willing for everyone listening in to hear?
Okay. He a joker, loyal, friend.
A joker, loyal, and a friend. Yeah.
Yes.
So the fact that you're very close to him in these other dreams usually would mean that you're trying to kind of get closer to some of those aspects within yourself or to integrate those more. So to maybe, either bring in more of the jokiness, bring in more of the loyalty, bring in more of that feeling of friendship in the other areas of your life.
Right.
Or something else along those lines, and you may also look at his career in radio, for example, and be wanting to absorb more of that into your life. There's something along those lines. But how to stop having those, that's a hard one.
Help.
Okay, we'll help you. So one would be spending a little bit of time when we finish this, thinking about what does he really represent to me that I may be trying to get close to in my life.
Right.
And then choosing a different symbol for that.
Sure.
If, for example, it is loyalty, think of dogs. Sorry, but dogs are commonly loyal. Sorry, Michael. So think up, like make up this lovely little picture idea of a dog that is loyal to you, and maybe put a little collar around it that says "I'm your loyal friend" or something like that.
Yeah.
And just keep telling yourself that when you dream about loyalty, this is going to be your symbol for it.
Great.
And then
okay.
maybe that will replace the symbol.
That's so funny. And I'll say, I had a dream about you, Michael. You're a dog. Yes, that's so good. The other dream I've got, I feel like I can figure this out because it seems like I'm dreaming very literally at the moment, which I didn't used to do. There'd be a lot more abstract, but at the moment it's like my brain is in problem-solving mode. But I had a dream the other night where a friend of ours comes over and he's very upset. He's very upset with everything, and is telling people to stop spending the money. And I said to him, I was like, it's fine though, because we've got the receipts. So it's going to be okay. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. Well, where are the receipts? And so then I was like, I've got them here. And I start going through my bag, and then I'm pulling out all these receipts, but none of them are the receipts that we were talking about. I'm just drowning in receipts, and now I can't find the receipt. And so he's like, but I thought you said we have the receipts. And I was like, but I do have the receipts somewhere. What's going on there?
Okay. So I do take a little side step back first.
Yes.
You said these seem to be very literal dreams. And the reason why a lot of our dreams seem to be wildly symbolic is that the front part of our brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, normally in waking life is very sensible and ethical and logical and kind of editorial and pushes things away that we don't want to look at. And when we're asleep and dreaming, that part of the brain is relatively inactive. So it's up to the rest of the brain to go, wow, free.
Yeah.
And also, how do I express this thing, but without using logic? So I'll use a pink elephant in the sky and I'll use my teeth falling out because I can. And there are other times we have more logical, rational dreams. And that can be because this area is a bit more switched on.
Mm.
The other thing you mentioned there is these logical dreams seem to be more problem solving. And of course, one of the things that our dreams do really well is try to solve problems for us.
Right.
The idea of I slept on it and I woke up and I've got the solution now. So that's why it's more literal and why you're trying to solve something. I'll ask you a few questions. Do you normally keep paper receipts the way that you did in the dream?
No, never. The only time we ever do is, if we need to claim something for work, which is very rare.
Right, okay. So they actually represent something that you wouldn't normally have in waking life, but they represent something that would normally be involved in claiming for something.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And in the dream, what had you bought that you needed receipts for? Do you know what it was?
I don't know what it was. It was just we were spending too much money. Whatever, we needed to stop doing it because you had to prove it or something.
Right, okay, I love it. So you were spending too much money, so you needed the receipts. You were spending so much money, you needed the receipts in order to claim something back.
Yes.
Right. So it may not be about money at all. It's probably about something completely different. Like, this is not it, but this is an example. I'm spending so much time on such and such and such and such and such as such that I really need to claim that back somewhere. I'm spending so much time on writing this book that I'm writing. I hope I'm going to be able to get something back for it.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you're looking at the effort you're putting into something.
Okay.
And will I receive, it's a receipt, will I receive something back for that? Is it all disappearing down a black hole or am I actually covered?
Is it worth
Is this sensible? Is it worth it? Exactly.
Yes.
And the person that was angry with you, was it a dream figure or someone you know in waking life?
It was someone I know, but I'm not close to him. But he works in the army, so he's very, regimented.
Regimented, okay.
Yes.
So if I was to ask you for the 3 words about his personality, one would be regimented, the other 2 would be...
Regimented, like dry, as in dry sense of humour, and fit, always exercising.
And he was really angry with you in the dream for maybe not so. So he is a part of yourself or represents a part of yourself in the dream that's really angry.
Okay. Great.
And tends to be really organised and regimented and very fit. Yeah, so to be fit, you're normally regimented too.
Yeah.
So part of yourself that's really organised and really regimented, but still angry with yourself because is all this regimentation and organisation I'm doing, is it going to get me somewhere? Am I going to get something back for it? Does that make sense?
It really does. And see, this is what happened last time I spoke to you, Jane Teresa, because I now am putting things together and I'm like, I know what this is. And you've psychologized me through dreams again. Because I often, with this podcast, it is outside my work hours. It's a labor of love, but it's very costly. And I always am like, I'm doing this because I love it, but I would love it to actually do something amazing, but will it be worthwhile?
Yes.
So then I feel like
sense.
this has just come to mind now about, will it? Wow.
Yeah. So what's lovely about that is, like I said, normally, and if we didn't have all these people listening in and we'd sit and talk about it for an hour and a half, we'd get really down and deep. But it's not so much that our dreams tell us what to do. A lot of people think dreams are telling us what to do or giving us guidance. Our dreams show us what is. They show us the lay of the land of our mindset. So, one of the things that you saw there was a part of yourself that's really angry about, even though it's a labour of love, part of yourself is angry about it. So we can look at the dream and say, okay, what do I get from this? I've identified the situation and what do I want to do with this information to change things going forward? So one of many things would just be to acknowledge that an unconscious part of yourself is really angry.
Wow.
And there are things you can do with that, like you can actually do dialogues on paper with you and the angry part of yourself and kind of chat it out and talk it out and get rid of the conflict and get that part of yourself to really be more supportive. That's one thing you can do. Other things you can do is make sure that what occurs to my mind is to maybe change what you think of as the good results from it, what you receive. So, part of you is thinking, I want to receive a large audience, lots of sponsorship, all these things. But then think of the other things you're receiving from it, the joy of doing it, the joy of spreading information to the people that are listening, the creativity, all those things. So kind of add in the receipts that you're really saying, these are the receipts. I'm getting good receipts from that. So lots of other things we could do with it, but it's basically looking at the dream and saying, Well, I'll ask you now, what if you just look at that dream as like a drama, a storyline, what could make it better?
Oh, I find the receipt to be claimed, and then everything's okay.
Yeah. So
That doesn't make it better though, does it? I suppose then we get money back.
yeah, that's it. So you rewrite the dream while you're awake,
Great.
or you paint a picture of the new version of the dream, or you visualize a new version of the dream. You don't think about the waking life situation we've identified. You just think about the storyline of the dream, and you change the ending. And that
Amazing.
gradually reprograms your unconscious mind to go, yeah, okay, yeah, we are receiving from this.
That's
This is
so
good.
good. A question for you. Is this world and the study that you've done, is it related to, what is it, IFS, I believe it's called in psychology, the parts work, internal family
Yeah,
systems?
I've only found out about IFS like in the last 10 years. So it didn't,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, but I can certainly see that it is.
Mm.
So the way that I look at it is that, a lot of people are not comfortable looking at everyone else in their dreams and aspect of themselves. So if they're not comfortable, we'll look at it at a different level that still gets the message
Sure.
across. But the most courageous and beneficial way is to look at everyone as a part of yourself. So if you listeners know about IFS, they know about this already. But if you think your dreaming mind is processing, for example, how you're feeling about this regimented
Mm.
effort that you're doing. And so your dreaming mind has got to, well, who's a good person that could kind of represent that part of myself that really feels angry? Oh, I know.
Yes.
I know. And you bring in that person. So the dreaming mind is searching for not only people, but symbols, everything that happens in a dream. It's like individual, yeah, that would be a good symbol for that. That would be a
Yeah,
good
wow.
person for that. But it's all about us, because at the end of the day, how we experience life is about our own personal experiences, our unconscious mind, how we're wired.
Mm.
And we're processing all that in our dreams and able to stand back and see it and then choose how we might want to rewire. So yes, it is a strong correlation with all the IFS and other psychology systems which look at individual parts of yourself.
I love it. I love all that world so much. And I think I do a lot of ISS work with my therapist, which is why I was like, this is so helpful. All the things are like coming together. We're almost out of time, but we need to get your final note to self. And I'm curious as well, Jane Teresa, for your note to self. I suppose if you've got one from yourself, that's always fantastic as well. But maybe things that you've gleaned after listening to so many people share their dreams.
I could write a book, I probably have, on all the things, all the things that I've learned from people listening to their dreams. But I think I'll combine those two, because every dream is unique. Even the teeth falling out dreams are all unique. There's nothing you can really do when I come to meet a client, whether it's on Zoom or face to face. There's nothing I can do other than know that I am well trained, I have all my experience, and I bring that to the table. And then I am just 100%, like I am now, totally present with you or whoever I'm talking to. And I have discovered that that is where the magic is. You can't have magic without being 100% present. You've got to have done the work over the years, but then you've got to drop that the moment you're there. You can't be there thinking, oh, I'm going to bring in technique number 392. How does that go now? And you can't be thinking about, after this, I'm going to cook. Oh my God, I haven't got any food in for dinner. You can't be thinking, oh, I don't know the answer to this question. I'm going, oh, no, go into fear mode. You've just got to sit and be present. And then magic instantly happens. I don't know the moment that you or another client's going to go, you've just got me.
Yes.
But it always happens. And so I kind of extend that not only for my work, but into, and I guess this is the note to self, I've learned through all those to everyday life. So, if I go into nature, my note to self is 100% present. Leave everything else behind, not thinking about the future. I'm just in the moment. When I get up in the morning, I'm 100% in my dreams, just not for the whole day, but for a while. I'm not thinking about what I've got to do for the day, or will I be able to understand my dreams, or 100 million anxieties that I'm not actually an anxious person, but most of us could be. The 100 million different ways a day could go, and I'll just be anxious about all of them right now. Don't do that. If you want magic, 100% present in the moment, stay in the moment, stay in the moment. And that's, I guess, what I've learned from so many dream things that I've done with people, and been able to take and apply in my life as well.
That's amazing. That is a beautiful note to self, and so Well, it resonates with me, and I think a lot of listeners as well, because, yeah, that's something, especially in this day and age, it's harder and harder to do, isn't it? With so
Yes,
much things pulling at us.
yes.
Um, but thank you. That's, yeah, amazing. Stay in the present moment, and we'll find some magic. And that's what we need, more people to make some magic together.
It's all about people being present, communication, magic, stepping outside of all the rest of it.
I love it. Now, Jane Teresa, you are an absolute superstar, and I'm so excited I get to talk to you regularly on our radio show. But if people want to find out more about the work that you do, read your books, listen to your podcast, give us all of your
Okay,
details.
thank you. The podcast is called The Dream Show. The Dream Show with
Great.
Jane Teresa Anderson. You can find that everywhere. And just this year, we've started to put the full version on YouTube as well. We were a bit late with
Awesome.
that because we used to do anonymous guests, and you can't put anonymous guests on camera.
That's true.
I don't do anonymous guests anymore. So there's that. And my website, which is janeteresa.com. That's
Beautiful.
Teresa without an H.
Yes, that's true. A
Yeah.
good spelling tip.
And that's how you can have a consultation with me, how to find my books, how to do my courses. I've got one course called How to Interpret Your Dreams Step by Step. Basically, print out a chart and you watch me on video and I take you through step by step and you fill in that chart for that dream until the methods become
Oh, wow.
second nature to you.
Amazing. And if you're wanting more of my brain to be interpreted by Jane Teresa, I'm going to be a guest on your podcast. When can people expect that one to come out?
That comes out middle to end of May. I have got the date somewhere, but not in
That's
front of
okay.
me.
We'll aim for that. We'll link it all when it does. And so you can, find out some real kooky stuff from inside my brain. But Jane Teresa Anderson, thank you so much for joining me on Note to Self. You're an absolute star and I can't wait to chat again soon.
Thank you, Leah. I look forward to it.